Beep, 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 beep. Welcome to the court of the EDI jester. It's cold here today. Oh gosh. So the hibernating period continues. God, I wish it would go away quicker, don't you? Global warming, where are you when I need you? How are we, everyone? Continuing with some tremendous news that we've had in the last couple of days about Joe Phoenix. I've got for you this morning, once again, a cold reading of an article from The Critic. Right, about the marvellous Joe. So, without further ado, subscribe, share, notifications, whatever you've got to do, buy us coffee, warrior teacher, blah, right, okay, let's go. This is written by Freddie Attenborough under the Artillery Row series, which I've done a few of those in the past. Now, a former professor of criminology at the Open University has become the latest in a series of gender-critical feminists, i.e. feminists who believe sex is biological, well, right, it is, yeah, immutable, yeah, and should take precedence over gender identity in policy and in law. Always, right, always. To win employment tribunals. So she's won a tribunal, we know that, right? Professor Joe Phoenix, who established the OU's Gender Critical Research Network, the GCRN, has won her unfair dismissal claim against the institution. In its ruling, right, the tribunal also found that she suffered victimisation and harassment as well as direct discrimination. The payout's going to be glorious, isn't it? It better be. It better be. It won't be in the millions, but it should be. That's our problem over here. It doesn't sting enough, does it? Go to America. We also give you 25 million punitive damages. Right, that's what we need. Stop fannying about. Right? The OU's failure to protect Professor Phoenix from harassment from colleagues and trans activists was, the panel's ruling found, motivated by fear of being seen to support gender-critical beliefs and the fear of the pro-gender identity section of the university. What's galling about that paragraph now is they've just been given a load of money to research violence against women and girls. Don't! What's that about? As confirmed by the evidence of one of the OU's witnesses, Professor Ian Fribbins, there was more of a gender affirmative rather than gender critical culture in the OU. Specifically, in relation to Professor Phoenix's social policy and criminology department. The panel also determined that there was a majority of gender affirmative supporters and that those who were neutral in the department would be more likely to take their steer from senior members of staff who were on the gender affirmative side. So what they're saying is, right, in that, somebody pointed out, excuse me, you don't want to go this way. Somebody was saying, no, we're not doing that. Professor Phoenix was saying, I'm not going along with this because it's nonsense, right? And the university went, what's the popular opinion? Take a vote. This is reality by democracy at the Open University. Reality by democracy at the Open University. Is it me or does that go with that song? I am the very model. You try it. I'm not doing it. No, you try it, right? It does go with that, doesn't it? I am the very model. Take a vote. Tensions first emerge at the OU in 2018 after Professor Phoenix and 53 other academics signed a letter to the Guardian newspaper raising concerns about the introduction of self-ID for trans people wanting to undergo gender reassignment. I do wish these articles would speak the truth, though. Men, mostly, right? Men, mostly. Some women, but mostly men. Wanting to undergo gender reassignment, which has a 100% failure rate. This caused disquiet among... They didn't say that, I did. Just somebody goes, they never said that. This caused disquiet among some of her SPC colleagues, particularly the following trio, whose names feature with grim regularity throughout the ruling. So here we go. These are the three horsemen of the Crockett at the Open University. Senior lecturer and transgender academic lead, transgender academia. For EDI, Dr. Lee Downs. Everybody got that? Right. Head of subject, Professor Louise Westmoreland, and head of department, Dr. Deborah Drake. All of whom, I bet she's a dragon, all of whom were found by the tribunal to be supportive and or sympathetic to gender identity views rather than gender critical views. Around the time that the Guardian letter was published, Dr. Downs took it upon themselves, took it upon themselves to email all staff in the SPC portraying opposition to self-ID as anti-trans and associated with the far right. Good morning, mein Herr. What are we going to do today? Find the trans. It's rubbish. Rubbish. You know why it's rubbish? Right wing. You moron. They gave him a pass, in Germany, so that they didn't confuse them with cross-dressing gay men. Ugh. Another colleague, Dr. Christopher Williams, intimated to a female lecturer in the OU's graduate school that he found Professor Phoenix's involvement with the letter so concerning that he would talk to the OU's LGB Centre with a view to getting an injunction to stop her undertaking research on children and transgenderism. Absolutely surreal. So which one was that? Which of these three horsemen of the Accrockership was it? Dr. Christopher Williams. Was he one of them? No. So that's another one. Oh, it's actually four. There is, four horsemen of the Accrockership. There's another one. So they want to get an injunction to stop somebody doing research into transing the gay away. I wonder why. Was she planning to undertake such research? No. They wanted to take out an injunction to stop research that Joe had absolutely no interest in doing. There was no such research, and they wanted an injunction. I need an injunction against this. What is it? Nothing. That's one Dr. Christopher Williams. There was no evidence that Professor Phoenix was doing or planning to do any research into transgenderism in children. Well, there is no transgenderism in children. The tribunal found, adding that in making this statement, Dr. Williams was displaying an irrational fear and was hostile to the claimant because she had gender-critical beliefs. When Professor Phoenix subsequently gave a talk at a Woman's Place UK event in 2019 on the topic of trans rights, sex-based rights and the curtailment of academic freedom, more departmental pearl-clutching ensued. This is wonderful. I can hardly bear to open it, quavered one staff member, having been emailed a link to the video nasty by another colleague. That's what they called it, a video nasty. The Open University, along with the civil service, is going to get an enema, I think. Or it's about time they have one. Dr. Downs also fired off an email to Professor Westmoreland, complaining, I watched it yesterday and had to take a walk. I found it very upsetting. Been a while since I cried at work. You tosspot. The panel were distinctly unimpressed by the claim. We considered the transcript of the talk, the ruling states, immediately after Dr. Downs' complaint is reproduced, and there is nothing in the talk that we find that would be upsetting. Ouch. She says ouch. 3 months later, in June 2019, the Sunday Times published a letter signed by Professor Phoenix and other academics registering disquiet over a perceived inappropriately close relationship between the LGBTQ+ people and charity Stonewall and UK universities. Her views, as set out in the letter, were described as problematic and scary, and so embarrassing and unsettling by Head Department Dr. Drake, the hearing was told. The panel also found that the irresponsible Dr. Downs had popped up again. Hello. This time to demand that Dr. Drake take, in the tribunal's words, punitive measures against Professor Phoenix for signing the Sunday Times letter. Separately, the ruling notes that whatever gender-critical views were expressed at the OU, Dr. Downs complained or tried to get the view suppressed. Later that year, Professor Westmoreland reduced Professor Phoenix to tears when she raised her gender-critical views in a meeting. Professor Westmoreland said to Professor Phoenix that having you in the department was like having a racist uncle at the Christmas dinner table, the tribunal found, and that in doing so she was effectively telling the claimant off for expressing her gender critical beliefs. There's much more to it in the article. Go have a mosey. Go and have a mosey. Absolutely extraordinary. Absolutely extraordinary. So this is what we see again and again. Time and again. Bullies in organisations. Don't let them in. Right? Don't let them in. I mean, I saw somebody say yesterday, and this is a good start, if so, we need to do a lot more of it. If a CV comes in with any attempts to put pronouns in, just ignore it. Right? Just ignore it. Just ignore it. Because they're nuts. Right? They're absolutely certifiable. It's a sign they're certifiable. Once again, my congratulations to Joe. You go and read the article. Somebody's taken the time. Was it R. Fraser? No, Freddie. Freddie Attenborough took the time to write it. You can take the time to read it. We'll kill you with it. All right, I'll see you later on. Ta-ra, folks. Bye.